Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I am here to bring you a battle between the 2018 Challenger decks and the Defeat a God Challenge deck from Journey into Nyx. We'll be playing with 3 hero cards. We have the Harvester here. It says tap, draw a card, then discard a card. The Vanquisher, which says your starting hand size is increased by 1, your maximum hand size is increased by 1. And the Explorer, which says you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Because I only have 1 of each of these cards, we're going to apply these 3 cards to all 4 Challenger decks simultaneously. Over here we have Hazard Aggro, we have Second Sun Control over there, we have Counter Surge over there, and we have Vehicle Rush over there. We'll be playing 2 games, the first on normal difficulty with 3 Rollicking Throngs, and then the second on hard mode with 4 Rollicking Throngs. And because the Defeat a God Challenge deck has the potential to kill these decks on turn 1 of its plays, if we run across that situation, we are going to mulligan that card and then redraw so that we don't die instantly. We'll get started with 8 cards apiece. Hazard Aggro draws a Sun-Scorched Desert, a Braid, Lightning Strike, Mountain, Bomet Courier, On-Crop Crasher, and a Harsh Mentor. I think this is a little short on land, so we're going to go ahead and send this back to draw a new hand. Our second hand has a Mountain, Sun-Scorched Desert, Mountain, Magma Spray, Soulscar Mage, Fanatical Firebrand, Lightning Strike, and Mountain. I think this is a keepable one, and because this is multiplayer, we will get a free mulligan, so we will keep all the cards. Second Sun Control draws 8. They draw a Supreme Will, Glimmer of Genius, Opt, Aether Meltdown, and Renewed Faith. There are 0 lands here, so we cannot keep this. We will mulligan and try for a new hand. We now have an Irrigated Farmland, Fumigate, Island, Plains, Censor, Supreme Will, and Fumigate. I think this is okay, so we will keep this hand. Counter Surge draws. They get a Walking Ballista, Blooming Defense, Glint-Sleeve Siphoner, Force, and Swamp. It's not a great hand, but we will keep it. Vehicle Rush draws. They get a Spire of Industry, Inspiring Vantage, Unlicensed Disintegration, Spire of Industry, Mountain, Unlicensed Disintegration, Depala, and Lightning Strike. It's not a great hand, but we will keep this one as well. Turn 1, we'll draw. Hazard draws a Bomet Courier. Second Sun Control draws a Glimmer of Genius. Counter Surge draws a Glint-Sleeve Siphoner. We've drawn all 4. Vehicle Rush draws a Spire of Industry. Hazard Aggro will play 2 Mountains, and then we will tap 1 of them for a Soulscar Mage. Second Sun Control will play an Island and a Plains. Counter Surge will play a Forest and a Swamp. We'll tap both and play a Glint-Sleeve Siphoner. It is a 2/1 human rogue with menace. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get an energy. We'll get 1 energy. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2 energy. If you do, draw a card and you lose 1 life. Draw a card, it's a Plains. We'll play the Inspiring Vantage and the Plains. We'll cast a Lightning Strike targeting one of the Rollicking Throngs to kill it. Rollicking Throng goes down. And then we'll pass to Xenagos. Xenagos will cast the top 2 cards. The first card is a Ecstatic Piper. When Ecstatic Piper enters the battlefield, Xenagos Ascended attacks this turn if able. The second card is a Ferris Band Revelers. When Ferris Band Revelers leaves the battlefield, each player draws a card. Xenagos Ascended is going to attack this turn, and we are just going to take it, going down to 14. At the end of the turn, Hazard Aggro will tap the Mountain, cast Magma Spray targeting the Ecstatic Piper. It deals 2 damage to the creature, and if it dies, it would exile instead. So it exiles, and then it says, Hero's Reward, when Ecstatic Piper leaves the battlefield, each player gains 2 life, so we'll gain 2 life for 4 players, that's 8 life, taking us up to 22. At the end of the turn, we'll use the Harvester. Hazard Aggro draws a Mountain. We will discard the Scorched Desert. Second Sun Control draws an Island. We will discard 1 Fumigate. Counter Surge draws a Swamp. We will discard a Glint-Sleeve Siphoner. Vehicle Rush draws a Spire of Industry. We will discard a Spire of Industry. We'll untap. We'll draw. Hazard Aggro draws a Karizeb, Skyship Raider. We'll play 2 Mountains. Second Sun Control draws a Farm to Market. We will play the Irrigated Farmland tapped and a Island. Counter Surge will draw a Fatal Push. We will play a Forest and a Swamp. Vehicle Rush draws a Depala Pilot Exemplar. We will play a Mountain and a Spire of Industry. The Spire of Industry says tap, add colors to your mana pool, and pay 1 life, add 1 mana of that color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if you control an artifact. We'll spend 3 mana to cast Depala, Pilot Exemplar. She is a 3/3 dwarf pilot legendary creature. Other dwarves you control get +1/+1. Each vehicle you control gets +1/+1 as long as it's a creature. And whenever Depala Pilot Exemplar becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards of your library, put all dwarf and vehicle cards from among them into your hand, and then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Hazard Aggro will spend 2 mana and cast Kari Zev, Skyship Raider. She's a 1/3 legendary human pirate with First Strike Menace. Whenever Kari Zev attacks, create a legendary 2/1 red monkey creature token named Ragavan, and that's tapped and attacking. Exile that token at the end of combat. We should also note that Soulscar Mage is a 1/2 human wizard with prowess. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a creature an opponent controls, put that many -1/-1 counters on that creature instead. We will then tap 2 mana and cast Lightning Strike. That will trigger prowess on the Soulscar Mage, making it a 2/3. And then Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to target creature player. We will target the Ferris Band Revelers, putting 3 -1/-1 counters on it, making it a 1/1, and then we'll go to combat, and the Soulscar Mage will attack into the Ferris Brand Revelers, which will kill it. And it says Hero's Reward: when it leaves the battlefield, each player draws a card. Hazard Aggro will draw a Harsh Mentor. Second Sun Control will draw Approach of the Second Sun. Counter Surge will draw Rishkar Pima Renegade. Vehicle Rush will draw Sky Sovereign Console Flagship. Counter Surge will spend 4 mana to cast both of the Glint Sleeve Siphoners. We'll get 2 more energy here to go to 3 energy. And then we'll pass the turn to Xenagos. Xenagos untaps. Xenagos casts the top 2 cards, the first one being a Ecstatic Piper. Xenagos will go attacking this turn. And the second one is Xenagos' Thorn. Xenagos Ascendant gains Trample until end of turn and attacks turn of Able. That's kind of a whiff for Xenagos. Xenagos will come attacking. And we will decline to block, and we will take another 6 to go to 16. At the end of the turn, we'll use the Harvester. Hazard draws a non-crop Crasher. We will discard the Fanatical Firebrand. Second Sun Control draws a Plains. We will discard the Farm to Market. It has Aftermath. It has Sorcery. You draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards for 2 and a blue. We can cast it only from our graveyard. Counter Surge draws a Scrap Heap Scrounger. We're going to discard the Blossoming Defense. Vehicle Rush draws a Heart of Quran. We'll discard the second Depala. Then we'll untap everyone. Counter Surge will spend 2 of its energy to draw a card and lose 1 life. We'll go down to 15 and we'll draw a card. We get a Winding Constrictor. That's on the upkeep. We'll draw. Hazard Aggro draws a Sunscorched Desert. Second Sun Control draws a Cast Out. We'll play both of the planes. And I think we have this one in the bag. All we have to do is cast Fumigate, which says destroy all creatures. You gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. That'll destroy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 creatures are going down, including all of Xenagos' creatures. We'll gain 8 life from the Ecstatic Piper, so we'll get 17 life total. Xenagos does not die because the Revelers were around. Depala dies. All the Siphoners die. And then we'll tap 1 mana and cast Fatal Push. It says destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less. Revolt, destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less. Instead, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, Xenagos has no mana cost and he has no more Revelers, so he dies, and the 2018 Challenger decks defeat Xenagos pretty soundly in this round. We'll be right back with hard mode. Alright, it's hard mode time. We have 4 Rocky Throngs. We'll all draw 8 cards apiece. Hazard Aggro draws a Mountain, Hazard the Fervent Mountain, Bomat Courier, Soulscar Mage, Mountain, and Soulscar Mage. I think this is an okay hand, so we will keep it. Second Sun Control draws Island, Glimmer of Genius, Field of Ruin, Cast Out, Glimmer of Genius, Supreme Will, and Approach the Second Sun. I don't think this is enough land, so we are going to mulligan this. Now we have an Opt, Aether Meltdown, Plains, Irrigated Farmland, Cast Out, Island, Plains, and Plains. I like this hand better, so we will keep it. Counter Surge draws a Winding Constrictor, Scrap Heap Scrounger, Winding Constrictor, Blossoming Defense, Gaunty Lord of Luxury, Swamp, Verdus Gear Hulk, and Foul Orchard. This is not enough land, so we're going to ship this back. Now we have a Winding Constrictor, Foul Orchard, Forest, Fatal Push, Glint Sleeve, Siphoner, Walk the Plank, Swamp, and Forest. We will keep this hand. Vehicle Rush draws Heart of Quran, Evolving Wild, Pia Nalar, Toolcraft Exemplar, Veteran Motorist, Evolving Wild, and Bowmat Courier. This is not enough land, so we're going to ship this back. Vehicle Rush draws a Toolcraft Exemplar, Spire of Industry, Veteran Motorist, Lightning Strike, Unclaimed Territory, Scrap Heap Scrounger, Evolving Wild, and Heart of Quran. This is a bad hand, but I think it's one that we can work with, and so we will keep this hand. Turn 1, Hazard Aggro draws a Fanatical Firebrand. We will play 2 Mountains, and then we will tap them both to play 2 Soulscar Mages. Second Sun Control will play an Island and a Plains. Counter Surge will play a Swamp and a Forest, tap them both, and play the Winding Constrictor. It's a 2/3 snake, and if one or more counters would be placed on an artifact or creature you control, that many of those counters plus 1 are placed on that permanent instead. If you would get 1 or more counters, you get that many of those counters plus 1 instead. We also forgot to draw a card, so we'll draw and we get a Scrap Heap Scrounger. Second Sun Control also forgot to draw a card, so we will draw a card and we'll get a Plains. Vehicle Rush draws, gets a Lightning Strike. We will play the Spire of Industry, and we'll play the Unclaimed Territory. It says, as it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type, tap, add colors to your mana pool, add 1, or tap, add 1 to your mana pool. Of any color to your mana pool, spend this mana to only cast a creature spell of the chosen type. We'll choose Dwarf, and then we will tap 2 to play the Heart of Quran. It is a 4/4 legendary vehicle with flying and vigilance, crew 3, and this second bit of text doesn't matter because we don't have planeswalkers in this deck. Then we'll pass the turn to Xenagos. Xenagos casts the top 2 cards, the first one being the Ecstatic Piper. We know what that does. Xenagos is going to come attacking this turn. The second one is a Wild Maenads. It's a 3/1 Human Reveler with first strike, and when it leaves the battlefield, each player gains 3 life. Xenagos will come attacking this turn for 6. Second Sun Control will tap both mana and will cast Aether Meltdown. It has flash. It says enchant creature or vehicle. When Aether Meltdown enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Here's our 2 energy. Enchanted permanent gets -4/-0. So Xenagos is now a 2/5. Will only take 2 damage and go to 18. At the end of the turn, we'll loot. Hazard Aggro draws Chandra Torture Defiance. We will discard the Fanatical Firebrand. Second Sun Control draws a Fumigate, and we will discard 1 Plains. Counter Surge draws a Winding Constrictor, and we will discard the Glint Sleeve Siphoner. Vehicle Rush draws a Bowmat Courier, and we will discard the Bowmat Courier. We'll untap. We'll draw. Hazard Aggro draws a Bowmat Courier. We'll play both Mountains. Second Sun Control draws a Fumigate. We'll play the Irrigated Farmland tapped and a Plains. Counter Surge will play a Foul Orchard tapped and a Forest. We will tap the Swamp and the Forest to play yet another Winding Constrictor. We didn't draw, so we'll draw another card. It's a Blossoming Defense. Second Sun Control also forgot to draw, so we'll draw Nifty Revulet. Vehicle Rush will draw. We get an Unlicensed Disintegration. We will play the Evolving Wilds. We'll tap it, sacrifice it, and search for a red mana. We'll play that tapped. We'll shuffle. We will tap the Unclaimed Territory for a white mana, and we'll tap the Spire of Industry using the lower part. We control an artifact, so we can tap that for a red mana. We'll lose 1 life to go to 17. And we'll cast the Veteran Motorist. It is a 3/1 Dwarf Pilot. When Veteran Motorist enters the battlefield, scry 2. When Veteran Motorist crews a vehicle, that vehicle gets +1/+1 until end of turn. We'll scry 2. We look at the Bowmat Courier and the Heart of Quran on top, and we'll put them both on the bottom. And then we will tap the Veteran Motorist to crew the Heart of Quran, making it a 5/5 Flying Vigilance. We will spend 4 mana to cast Chandra Torch of Defiance. She's a 4 loyalty Chandra Planeswalker. +1 exile the top card of your library. You may cast that card. If you don't, Chandra Torch of Defiance deals 2 damage to each opponent. +1, add 2 to your mana pool. -3, Chandra Torch of Defiance deals 4 damage to target creature. -7, you get an emblem. Whenever you cast a spell with this emblem, deals 5 damage to target creature or player. We'll immediately -3 her to take her down to 1. And deal 4 damage to the Wild Maenads. That'll kill it. We'll get 3 life per player. That's 4 players, so that's 12 life, taking us up to 29. The Soul Scar mages both trigger prowess because we cast a non-creature spell. We'll go to combat. The Whiting Constrictors will both attack 1 Rollicking Throng. The Heart of Karan will attack a Rollicking Throng. Both of the Soul Scar mages are going to attack a Rollicking Throng as well. So we will kill 3 Rollicking Throngs between them all. And then we'll pass the turn to Xenagos. Xenagos untaps. Cast the top 2 cards. The first one is Xenagos' Scorn. Xenagos Ascended gains trample until end of turn and attacks his turn if able. And then is Dance of Flame. Whenever a Reveler attacks, Dance of Flame deals 1 damage to each player. Xenagos Ascended will attack. We will just let it through and take 2 and go to 27. At the end of Xenagos' turn, we'll use the Harvester. Hazard Aggro will draw a Shock and will discard a Bowmat Courier. Second Sun Control will draw an island and we will discard 1 Fumigate. We will also tap the island and cast Opt to scry 1, then draw a card. We'll scry the Glimmer of Genius and we'll draw the Glimmer of Genius. Counter Surge will draw a Forest and we will discard the Blossoming Defense. Vehicle Rush will draw a Veteran Motorist and we will discard the Scrap Heap Scrounger. We'll untap. We'll draw. Hazard Aggro draws a Lightning Strike. Second Sun Control draws an island. We will play a Plains and an island. Counter Surge draws a forest. We'll play both of the forests. Vehicle Rush draws an Evolving Wilds. We'll play the Evolving Wilds. It looks like we have the same win again. We're going to spend 5 mana and cast Fumigate, destroying all creatures and gaining 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. That destroys 7 creatures. The Whiting Constrictors die. The Veteran Motorist will die. Both Soul Scar Mages dies. The Ecstatic Piper and the Rollicking Throng will die. We'll gain 8 life from the Ecstatic Piper to go up to 35. We'll gain another 7 life from the Fumigate to go up to 42. And then Counter Surge will spend 2 black mana to cast Walk the Plank, targeting Xenagos. It says destroy target non-merfolk creature. Xenagos is a non-merfolk creature. He has no other creatures to protect him, and so he perishes. It looks like if Xenagos doesn't get the insta-kill, these decks really make short work of him pretty quickly, especially because Second Sun Control can wipe the entire board. And as long as another player has efficient removal, they can just finish Xenagos off. And so that are our games against the Defeated God Challenge deck with the 2018 Challenger decks. If you saw any major rules or gameplay errors, also let me know. I know sometimes I play things slightly out of order just for convenience because I'm recording and playing 4 decks at the same time. Don't worry about those, but if you saw any major rules errors or gameplay errors, let me know so I can get better at this. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of these videos, you can hit subscribe. This is Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.